Water Wastewater Commissioners at the Harwich Water Department, 196 Chatham Road, Harwich, Mass. Thursday, February 1st, 2024 at 11:30 a.m. The consent agenda, the January 4th minutes will be at our next meeting. I need a motion for the FY24 Quarter 2 Water Department usage and the FY24 second quarter internal adjustments.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. All right, abatements. 86 Earl Road. So it looks as if are these the people that, yeah, they live in Colorado. There was a toilet was leaking, you notified them of the leak, neighbor went over. And from what it says, they are a seasonal, but not this season because they're having work done at the house?
So, yes, so when we finished with our billing period, I went through the usage reports. That one stood out to me as a higher than usual count. Contacted them, they are typically seasonal, but they have not called, so when we reached out, they indicated that their contractor was there to get work, so that's why they didn't have the water turned off. And apparently during that time, vandals got into the property and did something to the outdoor shower.
Yeah, it says that they turned the outside shower on and left it running. Was there actual damage to the interior of the house? So we don't need, I mean, there's no photos or any kind of, I'm sure they're not.
What was the date that you got the call? 12?
So, yes, we read at the end of December, so that's when it came to our attention.
Yeah.
But we don't know when, because there's no e-coder on the account.
Right.
So we don't know when it actually started.
Sounds like it froze. I mean,
Yeah, sounds like to me.
yeah.
Knowing,
You mentioned a leaky toilet, but I don't see
no,
that.
that wasn't this one. It was
All
the
right,
other one.
okay,
This is
so
outside- this is an outside shower.
The outside shower,
Yeah.
good, okay.
So this was with 95,000 gallons.
Where are you getting that?
What's that?
Where are you getting 95,000? Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's right. So my only thought is, someone broke into their property and they turned on their outside shower. I mean, that's kind of a
Kids will be kids.
lousy
I don't
thing
want to say
do.
that, but
No, I know, but I mean,
But that late in the season, it's,
Maybe we had freezing weather.
I mean, you don't leave the outside shower on in December.
Right.
Because it's gonna freeze. It's gonna freeze in November.
right, no, I mean,
You know, I'm wondering if they turned in a police report or, you know, if they considered their homeowners, if it was vandalism. I have sympathy for them if it was vandalism,
Right.
but I agree, it's pretty unusual to leave an outside shower on.
Right.
But I do have some sympathy if it was vandalism, it's not vandalism.
well, that's why I was wondering if there was any kind of photos or any kind of evidence that, you know, that it was actually vandalized or broken into, but, Tracy?
She sent an addendum email this morning. I put the
I have that.
document. She references a police report. We didn't specifically see it, but there is one most likely on file with the police department.
okay. Oh, yeah. He said he sent it in a police report on December 2nd. Okay. All right. Board thoughts, opinions, motions.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we split it
Okay.
50-50.
Second.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, get the number.
Hold on. right, so Mr. Thompson has made a motion to split the balance, which would be 20609. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, is there any further discussion, Noreen?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. $161, Route 28. All right, this is the one with the toilet. So, couple of questions. It says, all right, so it's a second home. Now, does somebody live there, or are they renting it at this time? Because I read somewhere else that there was another name, another contact number to be put in to contact this lady?
So again, similar to the last, this came on our radar after seeing it on the high usage report. And when we contacted them, they were not here to actually check it, so I believe they were going to be sending either a neighbor or a caretaker to, because of the proximity of where they were.
Right.
And that's when they found out that the toilet was running, hence the high usage.
Okay, so now it says tenant called to put the water bill in her name. So.
2018.
Yeah, so, and then, but somewhere else it says that the house is vacated, so is it vacated, or?
He didn't mention, I mean, when I talked with him, it sounded like there was no one living there. And that's why he had to kind of contact down here to go in and check the property, and that's how they found the leaking toilet.
All right, yeah, on 815 it says, owner said unit is a rental and has been empty, so. Then on 7/3/18. All right, so this is a leaking toilet. It was charged at the highest tier, which is $6.31, for a total of $1,157.29. They're looking for an abatement of $971.74.
Do we want to split it?
Well,
I'd rather deny it, but usually,
it was a leaking toilet, right? So, was it 194,000 gallons?
Yeah.
I think, man, 24 hours.
I mean, Alan, what are you saying? You've seen split it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going, it was a toilet leak. I mean, it's, no, you have something to say, you have to.
Well, I'm conflicted because, you know, a toilet usually we deny, but, you know, I often suggest that we bill it at tier 1 rather than at tier 4, but at least we get something for the water.
You know, I think one of the things we've been lacking for a long time is the policy and the department setup. When you have a plumbing problem, that's not the water department's
Right.
problem, you know?
I agree.
So you try to do the right thing,
I know.
but at this point, I mean, all of a sudden, we're, you know, looking for money to pay our bill.
Right.
We can also deny it and do a payment plan.
That's fine with me too.
Motion?
That's what we usually have done.
That's
Yeah.
what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So is there a motion? I'll make the motion to deny and allow the homeowner a payment plan. That's, Wellesley, can you set that up with them?
Okay, I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
'66 Cemetery Road. Dan?
All right. So I may just throw out for discussion's sake, this abatement request kind of prompted us to go back through and do an audit. This is for sewer usage. So what ultimately ended up happening is we started bringing people online a couple years ago. We started out with paper applications. We then transitioned to the health department taking control and now implementing OpenGov. So throughout that process, there were, I believe it was 7 accounts in addition to this one? 9, in addition to this one, that were missed being added to billing once the sewer service was connected. Whether it was from the inspection not being closed out or whatever reason was. So there's a couple of them in addition to this that I would ask we kind of consider as we vote on this one as kind of setting a precedent. I would say that the fact that the account was missed in being added to billing isn't necessarily the property owner's fault. It was, an internal issue, so if I can make a recommendation, I would ask that the board consider that in whether or not to back bill. So I guess with that up.
Well, it was just back billed for October, right? Because January, right?
For the court.
So the back bill was for October for 75, and then the current bill is for January 24.
Are you specific to this account on the abatement? or
This one right now in front of us,
Okay.
yeah.
So he was connected at the end of August, so we backbilled to the October bill as well as the most recent January bill for the base. And because he's a low user, he was not billed for any sewer usage
So he was hooked up in August.
at the end of August. But we only
Okay,
found,
I found this on the web for what is hooked up and on.
That's not, I don't know what that is. I didn't,
It's our new member.
I apologize.
I guess you answered for me.
That could have gone badly.
Sorry. So when we just found this particular one, that's when we backbilled because he was connected prior to when we billed for the
All right.
period.
So,
that's fine.
so to do the $75, $175 payment would be fair, because the $75 is for January 24th. They've been hooked up since August.
Right. So if you agreed, I guess, using this as a basis for the other ones, right? So this one was only 1 quarter. There were a couple that go back further from, when we first started bringing people on. So if we, we uphold the charge on this one, we would look to do the same thing on the other 9 accounts. Some of those would be back billed much more, 5 or 6 quarters, which is going to be, a significantly higher bill, which I think where it's our error, it's going to be, not well received to say, hey, we messed up, and by the way, now you owe us $400 for back payments.
IRS doesn't care about that. I mean, they don't have a problem doing that. Or,
Well, I don't want to get into the technicalities of how far a utility can go back to bill to make an adjustment, but,
there we go.
I mean, I know in electricity it's 2 years, but haven't learned that. But that aside, 2 questions. On 1129, you have the thing, it says COC issued. What's a COC?
Certificate of Compliance.
Okay. So if they weren't compliant till, I'm not questioning this one. I think approving the 75 is perfectly fine, but if they weren't considered compliant till 1129, then how can we consider them hooked up in August?
So this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the sewer was inspected, but we may not have had all the documents, whether it be the tie card,
Right.
or maybe the inspector didn't hit complete within the OpenGov application.
Right.
So the customer was connected, the sewer pipe was in, but that final step in the permitting process, which issues the COC, wasn't completed until November. So they technically were, but it was that
Yeah.
mishap in the permitting process.
And the other question I have is, it seems like these were starting billing with people. To me, they seem more like billing adjustments than abatements. I mean, I would consider saying, you know, the department should analyze these and put them on your internal adjustment report. That's just my opinion. If you think some of the others go back too far, that they have to be looked at, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think of these as really being abatements.
Rosalie?
So, in our regulations, we do have a section for backfilling for non-registered meters. So that allows us to backfill to make up for revenue that we may have missed due to a circumstance, that circumstance, non-registered meter. So in this case, now that we have wastewater, if we know that there was a connection and there was usage, but it wasn't billed, it's treated the same as a non-registered meter, where it was revenue that would have been, but it never made it into our system. So that's why we backfilled this one, which prompted the audit of the rest. So that's why we're treating it under the sort of the same regulation.
So the others haven't been paying the $75 base as well?
Correct.
So these 9 haven't been paying the $75 base?
As well as.
As well as the usage?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, no, please.
So, so there's 9 others that yet need to come before us.
I would say, depending on what this board decides today, would determine how we address the other 9.
Because we billed this homeowner, and they're the ones that brought it to our attention.
Right. We haven't,
They put it in the abatement.
Right.
we have not notified
So
those
depending
9.
on whatever we actually take now, we will have to notify the other 8 as to whatever they owe.
Right. If that's, yeah.
Noreen?
I don't see any other sewer usage charges. I only see the $275.
That's because they were under the 8,000.
Oh, okay.
So, see,
Yeah,
I lost my train of thought. No, it was, so my thought would be to try to keep this as fair as possible. It was our mistake. However, I think the $75 base should be at least paid for those quarters and not the usage because it was an internal mistake. That's my thought. Anybody else have any opinions?
I'll second that.
It's not a motion, I'm just putting it out there, Noreen.
I'm gonna go the other way because if it's a billing adjustment to a new customer with any kind of confusion about, I mean, these people haven't been notified of the previous bill, they're still getting letters of compliance back and forth, it's their first time on the system, and it's a base charge, you know, so, I mean, I don't even know what the usage was, maybe it was only worth $2.12 or something, you know, so I would go the other way.
Meaning what?
Being I would approve the $75 request, the one from January, of course, is fine, and I would use the same philosophy with the other 9 accounts. We just had a meeting with the Board of Health where we agreed to extend the connection thing, so it seems like as a department and a town, we're going along a lenient course of getting our customers on. So I don't see that the $2,000 or $3,000 that we might get over a dispute would be in line with the way we've been acting.
So you're seeing the $75 for everyone starting January, and that's it?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I don't know the details on the other 9, but assuming they're, you know, the same
I
thing.
think we're seeing the same thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah?
You just like to argue with me.
No,
I think we're seeing the same
no.
thing. So to do the $75, just the base charge,
Yeah. But I thought,
but not the usage.
right,
I think the difference is you're suggesting we charge the 75 back charge to all the accounts, is that correct?
No.
Yeah,
Starting
why?
from January.
And you want to start in January?
Right.
Okay.
Right, so that's the difference. You were saying
Yeah.
go back, she's
Okay.
saying
So
pick
you
it
want
up
to
in
start in
January.
January? Okay. All right.
What do you want to go from
That's-
October? That's what.
Well, just because
Or obvious.
they were using it. I mean, it was in, and they were using it,
They
right?
weren't built.
They just weren't built.
Right.
So the lines were hooked up to the house.
Right,
Wastewater was flowing. We missed it, but the base charge, even the base charge is the $75, and it covers the first,
8,000.
8,000 gallons. So instead of doing the base and the usage, I'm just putting something out there, trying to figure out
No, I
how to
get
go about
it, yeah.
it. So if you want to just start in January, I mean, like, I don't have a problem with that either. I'm just trying to set the tone, so when we have to go back, it's the same for everybody, and try to move this forward. So what's the pleasure of the board? You want to go January? Okay. So Noreen's,
I'll move that we approve the abatement request for $75 for the bill generated for last October, was it? Thereabouts?
October 23rd, 2023.
Yep. And in line with that, that other accounts of this nature will be billed as of January 2024.
Is there a second?
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right,
We were
orders.
almost in agreement.
Yeah, I thought so too. Mr. McCaskill, I didn't recognize you in the audience.
Glad to be here.
And during public comments or announcements, are you here for a specific reason or just as our liaison? I appreciate that.
Keeping an eye on it.
I think it was there. All right. Water, wastewater operating budget.
All right.
So really just highlighting, unless we have water, yeah, so just in the packet for consideration today is an updated FY25 wastewater budget. I was able finally to get Chatham's FY25 budget, so I was able to update all of our figures. This actually results in a net decrease from the budget that we had previously looked at before. Correct me if I'm wrong, Noreen?
Well, it said subsidy would be $567, but I don't know,
Which version that was?
yeah, so many. It's close.
35, 14. Because Chatham ultimately decided to pretty much level fund their FY25 budget from last year. The one big change was that they increased the contract operations line item because they are going out to bid for renewal of either Weston and Sampson or whoever wins the bids contract. So
How was that good for?
3 years, and then I believe they used to do 5 years, and then the most recent one, they did a 3-year with 2 one-year renewal options. I believe they're trying to go back to 5-year with the new one, but
All right.
I did talk to them about the ConOps bid as well, just to make sure that our collection system oversight is in there. I don't foresee us needing an increase in any of those services between the end of their at least initial 3-year term, because Phase 3 isn't going to be built, or at least online, I don't expect, for 3 years. So I don't think we have any big increase to consider there.
All right.
These numbers were updated in Munis as well, so within the town's overall budget, these should be accurate.
All right. You good, Noreen?
Yeah.
Approved meter bid price extensions. Wait, I missed, town report, Dan.
That is all right. That was, I think, just an old leftover from
We missed
prior
that
year.
one. That's already done.
Already done.
Wish people silenced their cell phones. Jeez. Operating budget, all right, new business.
I'm gonna call him.
Yeah, it's off. Approve meter bid price extension for FY25. So this is a letter from,
Two tie sales on behalf of the the board. Ty Sales is our meter vendor that provides all of our potable water meters. This would be an extension of our existing sole source contract with them.
So a motion to approve the contract with Ty Sales? Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sewer order to connect extension. That's just a meeting we had.
Yeah, so I just, as a follow-up, I did connect with legal counsel on the votes that were taken at the joint meeting. If my memory serves me, you guys did not take any official action at that meeting. Giorgio did recommend, just because our regs do state the 2 years, that this board also vote to extend to the March 1st, 25 deadline. But beyond that, he didn't think there was any additional action required.
All right, but between the Board of Health and our regulations, there's that wording in there, the language about the board.
Yeah.
Is it the Board of Water and Wastewater Commissioners or the Board of the Health Department?
He did not clarify in my discussion with him. I think that's why he's recommending that both of us do it, just as a, because I think you can interpret Section 6 in our regs either way.
Okay. Noreen?
Do we need a public hearing to change our sewer regs?
To change the regs, we would.
Right.
But he is, and I had that discussion with him because initially he said the vote should be fine, but, you know, to grant that extension, but, you know, you should change the regs, do a public hearing. And I said, well, John, what we're trying to do here is not applicable to any of the future phases. It's not applicable to anyone outside of the remaining 200 people that are in phase 2, because now financial assistance is available. He advised that, you know, the, you know, act of fining, you know, or assessing fines is very discretionary. So just like when we implement water restrictions and the board says we're going to implement them August 1st, but we're not going to begin enforcement until August 15th, this is a similar situation to that.
I'll make a motion.
Noreen?
I move that Section 6 of the Water Wastewater Department sewer use regulations be understood to include an extension for connection for the Phase 2 participants of up to March of 2025.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What was the final date?
March 1st, 25. Now, Dan, Route 28.
Yeah,
You've been waiting all, the whole meeting for this one, haven't you?
Great news. So, in the packet are two cost estimates for the Route 28 water main replacement and dry sewer pipe project. Phase 1 of the project is the area between Division Street and the Herring River, and that's the portion that's being done as part of the Mass DOT road repaving project. On the sewer portion for that project, we appropriated $6.5 million last year, and the updated cost estimate for the sewer portion only is $1.146 million. So we've dropped $5 million on that one. The water portion combined is just over $8 million, down from the 15 that we had at town meeting, or at least our cost estimate was revised to $15 million around town meeting, and is since now $8 million. So that is great news. I had a hunch that the numbers were high for some time, and now we're finally realized that, so.
Well, that's just a huge relief We start looking at our rates too. I mean, that's pretty significant, so. Noreen?
So, on the water side, the 2 million, that's not the total cost of the
No,
project?
the total for water is the sum of the 2.114 and the second page in the packet, that 5,980,000.
Okay. Thank you.
So I have got all of this information over to our bond counsel, our bond advisors, Hilltop. So they're gonna prepare updated debt projections so that we can get that number now incorporated into next year's FY25 water budget, and we can start to build out the rate scenarios to support that debt.
Do you have a time frame?
They're usually really quick to turn everything around, so I would expect I'll have the updated debt projections probably by midweek next week at the latest. And then from there we can...
And DOT's ready to go?
No, so the DOT portion of the project is not going to be constructed likely until sometime in 2025, maybe September of 2025. The Phase 2, which is from Herring River to Harwich Port, the plan should be done. I think they're going to get me 90 or full design set in the next week or so for final review. We're going to get those over to DOT because we're doing road work within DOT roadway, so we have to get it up to them for review. Hopefully we'll get that back by March, at which point we could go out to bid for that portion of the project.
All right. Noreen?
On the sewer side, beyond the 1.1 million, is there any other component
For
costs?
at this time, no.
No, okay. I hate to go through the bother of borrowing through Hilltop. I mean, it almost seems like one of our water investment funds or some of the 3% monies or just,
Cover that.
you know, not our wheelhouse, but, something to think about, one less thing off the debt schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, how it was gonna be funded.
The sewer portion?
Yeah, that and the water.
So, well, we did get the SRF loan, or we got the, we're listed on the intended use plan for SRF for the for the sewer portion. I'm expecting that's gonna be at 0%, and we're probably gonna get some principal forgiveness,
Right.
so it may, for those reasons, be worthwhile, you
Yeah.
know, sticking with the loan option.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, can't we still get, doesn't matter, but can't we still get the SRF loan but pay it through a different way, you know?
I would defer to the finance
Okay,
department.
we'll leave that there.
Too outside of mine.
Mine as well.
Any other discussion about Route 28? Roundup, monitoring results. Came back as not detected.
Yes,
So
which
that's
is
good.
great. So last year, we signed up with the Department of Agricultural Resources to do a voluntary monitoring for Roundup, as well as the compound that Roundup turns into when it degrades. So they finally sent us our first batch of results, and we have detected 0 glyphosate or its metabolite. So sampling was taken monthly between November of '22 and December of 2023.
And what is acceptable?
What's acceptable?
Yeah, like
It's- So Roundup is an I believe it's an unregulated contaminant. It's not something that, yeah, it is, it's definitely an unregulated contaminant. So there is no health standard for it, but I would say 0 is probably where we want to be at.
Noreen?
Should this be something we should publicize, so maybe?
I was intending on posting
Okay,
it to
I will do-
our Facebook and stuff, but I wanted you guys to hear it first.
We have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Mr. McCaskill?
Can
you email me a copy of that?
Sure.
Please. And then I believe the state, through MDR, they regulate it in parts per trillion when they find it. Because I know in the past study, I think it was around Boggs off Main Street, they found it a foot down and it was parts per trillion. So, let me correct that. MDR is parts per million, we found it in parts per trillion in the past study.
These were parts per billion, so,
Yeah.
because I'm checking all.
So I think we're doing really good
Yeah.
on the science to
Yeah.
really go.
And that was, when I had talked to the guy's name was Hotze, when I talked to him, when they first talked about this, you know, he explained that this stuff binds so well to the organics in the top, you know, upper layers of the, you know, soil, that it really doesn't break down and find its way into the water
Wow.
supply. So this is
Good.
reassuring in that sense.
You know, when you talk about the logs, you know, it's amazing how long they've been inactive and they still find it. I'm sure it got heavy doses when it was active, you know.
And I know the study that I'm talking about was well over 10 years ago, so it hasn't been anything since, but that's what the study was.
Oh, nothing's happened during this construction?
Doesn't end stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kias don't breathe that stuff.
Yeah.
That's years of TV. Don't inhale.
And that's, the site we picked was in East Harwich, near the Food Forest Initiative Garden.
Okay.
Because that's what I would argue was where we're the most, you know, closest to us.
Wasn't anything in it.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to pick if there was
Yeah.
gonna be a place that it would show up, I wanted to, you know,
Right.
if it's there, we wanna find it.
All right. FY '25 wastewater budget.
That was a duplicate, we covered that.
I thought so. Indirect expense policy.
All right, I have some additional information to hand out, not necessarily for consumption at the meeting, but I guess for discussions moving forward. So what I'm handing out now is a copy of some slides that were given as part of the Enterprise Fund class that has been taught by Mark Abrams a number of times. I believe he's come to town to actually host that locally. So I wanted to give you some of the basic information as well as the Enterprise Fund manual. I did go through and highlight within the manual sections that were specific to indirect expense, costs, policy. There's a couple different methodologies that you can use to determine what the indirect costs are. I think, you know, we've seen 4 finance directors and the policy is, you know, kind of changed ever since, you know, with every one that comes in. You know, it is a best practice and a recommendation that there be an adopted policy on how the indirect expenses are calculated and how that all transpires. So I think you guys had expressed a desire to discuss this, you know, at a higher level with the select board. I might offer or make a recommendation that we may want to consider bringing Mark Abrams in to work with us collectively on putting that policy together. I know that is a service that he offers and has done for other communities. They would be, you know, at least represent an unbiased, objective
All right.
attack.
Give us some time to look through this, Noreen.
One question. On our water, you know, we have the information from the change for the water indirects. I was curious on our water wastewater budget, is the same methodology that was used on our water indirects used on our current wastewater indirects?
No.
Okay.
Reason being, and Sandy and I had met with the finance team and they didn't want to charge indirects to the sewer enterprise account.
Right.
The opinion there was that because the sewer enterprise is being subsidized by
Right,
the general fund, that we're moving money from one place to another just to move it back. That said, I personally like the idea of going through that exercise,
That's
because then it gives us, a full cost recovery picture. I think the objective is for us to move to a point of sustainability from revenue and expenses, and I think that those are costs that we should be tracking.
but we could include that in a indirect policy as a note to explain why wastewater would fall into it.
Right. And I think, again, more justification for having an agreed upon written policy
Right.
so that, everyone's on the same page.
I will take this, Dan.
So that'll be on the future agenda.
Yeah, and I'll reach out to Mark Abrams in the meantime and see if he can put together a proposal to help us on that policy.
All right, last one is a joint meeting with the select board. Do we have anything with the board?
Well, I would say, once we get somewhere, a little bit further down the line with the policy on indirect expenses, that would definitely be an appropriate discussion to have. I think outside of that,
We had a meeting scheduled, I think it was for December. We ended up canceling that because it was getting kind of busy during the holidays. Was there anything on the boards? Just for me, okay.
My understanding is really to keep us all on the same page and communicate.
Okay.
As we all discussed.
All right, Brian?
Yeah, I'm just remembering to either August or September meeting when it was either Julie or Mary, the chair, who suggested that we meet quarterly, but,
That was Mary.
yeah.
I have been in conversation with Julie about meeting and getting together and keeping that line of communication
Right.
open. I know we had that December meeting, but I don't know, something came up, I forget what it was. But yeah, we are definitely gonna keep that
Yeah.
going, so I'd like to have something to talk about when we get there.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
This is in regard to like wastewater.
it could be anything, just anything.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just so that,
or water.
yeah, water, wastewater, yeah. Yeah, Michael.
I would say that we're about to have a joint meeting anyway on the budget. So any other topics that come up, we include that.
Right.
Part of this would be education of
Oh, yeah.
the public on, it'd be great to announce at some point that we saved $12 million on estimates.
Yeah.
That makes people feel,
Yeah.
so why not announce that? But maybe in conjunction with the budget conversation,
All right.
we have other topics and we're
Yeah.
all the same.
That's good.
No,
No?
I think yes, okay. All right. Superintendent's report.
All right. A little quick show and tell. Again.
You've been busy.
I'll sit next to Alan.
Want the light out? Okay.
Yeah, probably. It'll look better.
Yeah.
Very excited. All right, so this is what will be the new public-facing Phase 3 wastewater map. So this will be available to anybody who wants to come. They can punch in their address. Pick one. You can actually pick and search, or you can simply zoom, select. It will tell you what watershed you're in, your address, as well as the anticipated sewer service type. The one thing that I have left to do is set up the landing page with definitions that will explain all the different components. But this has contract outlines, the bid alternates that we were gonna talk about this past Monday, but we'll be talking about next Monday. Really comprehensive, you know, for anything I think residents for Phase 3 may want to know. So once I get the landing page set up, and we're going to do a couple color changes, but this will be hopefully live.
Yeah, what's those two land masses there?
This?
Yeah.
That is our well field, and that is the 40-acre site where the pump station on Pleasant Bay Road is.
That's Bay Road right there.
Pleasant Bay.
Pleasant Bay Road, okay.
And then Bay is here.
Okay, yeah. And where did we land with Waquasit? What's going on with Waquasit? Are they hooking up, are they connecting?
Not, at least as part of what we have currently proposed is Phase 3. They, you know, I had initial discussions with Waquasit, with their property manager. We've requested information from them. They were working with Coastal at one point, and then I think switched to Weston and Sampson, and ultimately they just stopped communicating and didn't provide us with any of the information that we needed. So I kind of took that as they're no longer interested, at least at this point in time.
And how many homes is that? Phase 3?
672, I believe it is.
That's 672 on top of...
500.
And do a projection of flow for those two phases?
I certainly can, but not off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay.
So I've been building a database, you know, for sewer, for our watershed permit compliance. So the database that underlays, you know, all the parcels now has 9 years of water use data, which watershed they're in, which sewer phase they're in, so that I can, you know, if you wanted to say, what's the average, you know, flow for, say, this street, I can gather that group of parcels and export, you know, past 9 years of water use and all that data. So it's almost done, but this is what we've been kind of working towards.
Noreen?
Yeah, I just want to compliment and say I'm thrilled. This is what we wanted and actually had for Phase 2, but unfortunately the data got so buried in the other Phase 2 discussions of overbids and separated contracts, so this is wonderful.
This will be the PDF version of that map, and it has on it the street names and numbers.
Wow.
So should hopefully answer.
Can you print some of those here for us?
Yes.
Because my printer won't.
This map needs a couple updates.
I'll wait till,
But-
yeah.
Yes. Definitely. So,
All right.
Wait,
that's all I got on that. Oh,
I got nothing to say.
one other big event. We had our first sewer issue yesterday. It was actually on Bay Road, which only has one house connected to it presently, which is this house. There was a blockage between the last manhole and the second manhole in the system. So Chatham, Town of Chatham responded with their tractor truck, was able to clear the blockage and get everybody back online. I have some pictures that I would love to show you.
Camera?
They didn't put a camera down. That's actually, I gotta reach out to the contractor because the second manhole looks like they might have dropped some mortar in when they were setting the frame and grate, which looks like that's where it's causing the flow to start to back up, which then anytime something solid comes behind, it gets bogged down there and compounds. So I have some calls to make, but
So what was the chain of events as far as being notified, responding, like,
Yeah.
what was the process?
so this house right here had
Where are you? All right, 0?
what is it's
Yeah, all right.
it's 21 Vicksburg.
Okay.
But
Is that
that's,
Phase 2?
yeah. But Vicksburg was not sewered under Phase 2. They own frontage
Okay.
on Bay Road, so they ran their sewer service all the way out the back. So, how did it all come in? Yeah, so I got a call from Steve, who got a call from Brian.
Steve,
Our Steve,
Water Department.
Water Department, who got a call from Brian Barrows, who did the install on the sewer service, because he was called out by the developer, because the developer was called by the property owner. So, I don't know which one of the, I ultimately got a call from Steve. I talked to Weston and Sampson, they were already on site at that point in time. I don't know if it was Brian, I still have to, this was yesterday afternoon before I had to take off, so I haven't got the full summary of chain of events, but that's how I found out.
So the homeowner noticed it.
Yes, in their bathroom basement,
Ugh.
yes.
How come an alarm or alert?
Because they're the only person connected to this segment of sewer main. There's no pump station to flood, there's no alarm to trip. Because there's,
It didn't come back in the lift station.
yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't-
'cause it's just in the manhole.
So it was locked before it got to the station?
yeah. And it was ultimately, we advised the property owner to try to flush some less paper products down there. Not saying it's entirely on them, because, it looks like there's some grout at the bottom of the invert, which I'm gonna be looking into. Another component is that they're the only one connected to the line right there. So there's gonna be less flow, which less flow, less velocity, things are more likely to settle out and cause backup. So Weston and Sampson is gonna be monitoring this segment over the next couple weeks to see, if it continues to build up.
Do they need a pump?
For,
So if there's no flow of velocity, do we need to put a pump in that area?
no, it's just, it's not that it's,
It's got good gravity flow.
it's gravity flow, but it's just, there's little flow because there's only one person connected.
Right.
So
The
just
liquids are running before the.
But I understand all that, but how do we stop that from happening again, going forward and going forward?
Bigger toilets and bigger capacity toilets.
No, well, I think, one, we're gonna monitor, I gotta get someone out to take care of the grout that's at the bottom. That could have been the predominant issue. It could have been that in combination with low flow, because no one else is connected to it. It could have been because the property owner was, flushing things that maybe they shouldn't have been. I'm not blaming them, because but, it could have been any of the three. We're gonna monitor it, make sure that the inverts are clean and the manholes, and go from there.
So the blockage was in between the house and the curb stop, or the curb stop?
It was in between the first two manholes in the street, and it was blocked, it was backed up all the way up their sewer service into the property.
So it's out of the house into the system.
Yeah.
So
That's a long
shame
run,
on-
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's
on
a
that
long
house.
sewer service, yeah.
All right.
So you're gonna have that problem, no matter what, with the low flow toilets, 1.2 now.
Right. So,
They're changing the code too, they're making, it's like where you have to run 4-inch, they're making it so you can run 3 now. They've already changed it in
Yeah.
plumbing code, so. You smaller the pipe so that you get better flow.
yeah. So ultimately, my plan is to do a little bit more digging, research on, everything between manhole 1 and manhole 2. I want to go back and pull the inspection records from CDM. I gotta see, if this is something that RJB should be coming out, or if we're outside of so I got some more homework to do.
Who's RJB?
They were the general contractor that constructed that segment. I don't know if we're outside of the period at which I can demand they come back, so.
Probably premature, but I'm wondering if that's something we have to think about for the future, because you mentioned, could be them with paper. I mean, what if it is them? I mean, does that matter? I mean, You know what I'm
No,
saying? I mean,
Unfortunately, it doesn't, right? So,
right,
one of the headaches of the wastewater industry is that you flush it, we gotta deal with it.
That's right.
We can
It
encourage
seems like.
and recommend and, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they have built a whole, industry around grinding up those
Well,
sorts of products.
that's what I'm saying, does that homeowner need, is it a grinder pump or some kind of pump on their
They're-
property?
No, I mean, they're gravity connection,
Gravity connection.
yeah.
All right, so I guess
Okay.
step one is to try to clean that motor out and see if that's the
Yeah.
problem. Okay.
And we're gonna monitor it,
Yeah.
over the next, and just keep tabs on it. And
All right.
How many more hookups are there anticipated into that section round up?
10,
That'll make it.
yeah. It'll help move, move things along.
But what's the time frame on those?
I know a bunch of them actually just went with Speakman together, so I saw the signs out for Speakman Excavating when I was out there yesterday, so I
Alright.
gotta imagine a couple weeks,
All right.
which will either improve or compound the issue, so we're
All right.
gonna find out.
Sure, better. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Anything else for the superintendent's report?
I think I'm good, unless
Commissioner's report, Mr. Thompson,
I'm good.
Ms. Downey,
I'm good.
Mr. Goff,
I'm good.
Assistant Superintendent, wastewater.
I reached out, we have 2 applicants, none with any experience, but we are gonna, I am working with Megan to schedule interviews. I know she emailed them like yesterday or the day before.
Is that internally or external?
External. We didn't get any internal.
Only 2 applicants external with no experience?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it worth interviewing them if they, I mean, we've waited this long, Would it be better to re-advertise?
I don't mind giving them a shot. One of them was former U.S. Air Force. The other one did 2 years at WPI in engineering. I think he left because, COVID and everything, so, there's good enough characteristics about both of them to
Okay.
at least sit down and interview them.
Groom them the way you want them.
And if that doesn't pan out, what's our,
Re-advertise and
all right. All right,
hope
How many applications did you get?
to,
2.
Is that price range too low?
probably.
It's
I
not a
mean, we put so much effort into this, obviously you feel you're gonna go ahead with the 2 applicants, but maybe we need to have a discussion if they don't work out about before we re-advertise.
All right, next meeting. Would be next Thursday, the 15th.
John will be gone for 2
Do it over the
months.
phone.
Over the phone? Okay. Mr. Thompson,
When did you say 15th?
15th.
Yeah, I'm tied up.
Okay. 14th, Valentine's Day, are you busy?
I'm good. I can
Doreen?
I can come.
leave my heart at home.
We do have scheduled, I believe, confirmed for Tuesday, February 13th, an evening meeting for Phase 3 wastewater coming up.
Could you elaborate?
With who?
Community meeting. I believe Joe might have mentioned it at the last select board meeting.
No.
2 ago. I could be wrong.
That we have?
No, not we, meaning the town of Harwich is hosting a wastewater
Oh, okay.
informational meeting
All right,
for the Phase 3 area on Tuesday,
residents.
residents,
Okay.
Tuesday, February 13th.
Okay. I mean, I've heard nothing about this. It seems like kind of short notice.
I think it, yeah, so he,
I never heard it mentioned.
I was gonna mention it again this past Monday.
Right, but I don't
Meeting
think it's
stands.
again. I don't think it was ever mentioned.
Okay, I'd have to go back and look
All
at
right,
the
it's not
27th.
worth it, but, you know.
So the
Do you
plan
ever
was-
remember it mentioned? No, it wasn't. It wasn't, Dan.
I was told it was.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm losing some of this, so
Yeah, we're-
I can't say.
Mike and I are agreeing, so, yeah.
How about the 16th? Is the 16th work? Is that better?
It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter. If you guys had wanted to come and attend on the 13th, if you were looking to do a double header back-to-back on the 14th.
Well, Tuesday's meeting is an informative meeting.
Right.
I'm assuming by the select board or the town administrator?
Thank you.
I'm becoming more uncertain.
Okay, because it's not really ours to present.
Right. Me,
So-
myself, Jeff Gregg from GHD was gonna be there.
Okay.
We were gonna go through, the map, what to expect during construction, the sewer service location process, just kind of a general,
Right.
here's what to expect.
All right, so let's forget that one, because that, if we want to go to that, we can figure that one out. But for our regular meeting is the 16th, which is a Friday. Does that work for anybody, everybody?
Follow me?
Yeah.
16?
16? Noreen?
Well, I was just wondering what your needs were for when you need us for meetings in the next few weeks.
I think the 16th should be fine.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything pressing schedule-wise.
Oh, you know what? I can't do 6, I can't do,
Okay.
no, wait a second. If we, do,
That's why I was wondering like the 22nd.
that's fine too.
What's on the 20th, Monday? No?
20th?
Tuesday, you
Is it
mean?
Tuesday?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yes, Tuesday.
If we're gonna wait until Tuesday, let's just stick with Thursdays
Yeah,
and do the 22nd, you know?
That's okay.
That's fine, right? Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So 22nd,
22nd,
we're good.
11:30 to 1:30. 11:30 anyway. All right. All right, a motion to adjourn,
So
second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.